Dollywood is known to attract families from all across the country for its rides, food, and events. But over the past few years, the theme park has become an industry innovator when it comes to people with disabilities or cognitive disorders. WBIR 10 News anchor Brandon Bates explored the park and talked to the woman behind some of this innovation. Brandon?
Well, John, it all started in 2016 when Dollywood opened a first-of-its-kind autism calming room. It provided a quiet, relaxing environment with a number of sensory items that's designed to calm guests with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD.
A trip to a theme park for children with autism spectrum disorder or a disability can be packed full of obstacles. Sensory overload, no way to get in or out of rides, or nowhere to relax to take it all in.
We want to make everybody feel inclusive, to embrace the experience here at Dollywood.
It's Judy Toth's job to make sure everyone can safely enjoy the park. And it all starts at the Ride Accessibility Center. Here, for example, if your child has autism, you can learn more about the rides, the sounds they make, and decide whether it's a good fit. Another way Dollywood is making their park fun for anyone is with their calming room. It's the first of its kind in the world, and it was all Judy's idea.
Quiet getaway for a child or an adult on the spectrum or any other cognitive disorder.
And it was this calming room that started as a small idea that blossomed to become a blueprint for other parks like Sesame Place in Pennsylvania and Legoland, who now also have sensory rooms.
It was like a pivoting point with the calming room.
Judy says she's gotten several calls asking for advice on their forward-thinking approach to making the park accessible to anyone.
We started with the calming room, but we haven't stopped there.
Other ways the park is ahead of the curve: adult changing tables in restrooms and making the eating areas accessible to anyone. And since the calming room opened, 400 families have used it and 300 new families have visited the park just because the room exists.
And if you are interested in going to the park and you want more information, you can find a walk-through tour on our website to familiarize yourself or your children with the attractions. John?
Brandon, thank you.